That's Alice, the best guitarist in the whole city. Gina is the drummer. If coffee was a person, that would be her. She's that energetic. Sam plays the bass. She's a quiet girl with a fiery heart. And this is me, April. I'm responsible for the vocals, lyrics, and charisma. Together, we are the rock band Not Your Doll. Back then, we were rehearsing in my garage, but we believed that one day we would fill stadiums with our cheering fans. I loved two things besides music: street basketball and banana milkshakes. I lived in the suburbs with my loving parents and adored my friends. But one day, everything changed. It all began when Not Your Doll went to an audition. The winners were going to represent our city at a summer festival. We passed several rounds, and then it was us versus Iron Wolves, a boy rock band. Their lead singer was a guy called Chad, but everyone called him Wolf. A typical narcissistic pretty boy. He probably kissed his own reflection before going to sleep. The guitarist's name was Michael. He was a surprisingly nice guy. We chatted a couple times during the breaks. I heard your performance. Your voice is like a hurricane. Thanks. You play like Jimi Hendrix. There was a spark between us. Chemistry. Well, you get the idea. Let's go back to the final round of the audition. The jury talked for a long time before finally announcing the winners. Not Your Doll! For 20 seconds or so, we were on cloud 9. Then a man came on stage. I later found out his name was Mr. Phillips. He was a businessman and owned half the city.
No, hold on 1 second. I am sponsoring the winning band's trip to the festival, and I am not letting some snotty girls represent our city.
The audience booed that moron. But in 10 minutes, the jury changed their minds and announced that Iron Wolves would go to the festival in our stead. Mr. Phillips bribed the jury members!
Face it, girls, you can't be rockers. You should sign up for a pie contest instead.
Michael, do you think so too? He looked away guiltily and said nothing. That response was louder than any words. Coward. Girls, it seems they've declared war on us. A couple of days later, we performed at the mall that belonged to Mr. Phillips. We couldn't bring the drum kit with us, so Gina used pot lids to play. She was on fire. A crowd gathered around us. Everyone loved our performance.
The owner of this dump called us snotty girls. Can you believe it?
The businessman did not like our protest. He called the cops and we were taken to a police station. I took all the blame. My friends were released, but I stayed to wait for my parents. I'd like to hear an explanation, April. I wanted to teach Mr. Phillips a lesson. Never mess with Mr. Phillips or his sons. I didn't say anything about sons. Who are they?
Who wants a banana milkshake?
Don't change the subject. I do. They were clearly trying to hide something. The next morning, I gathered the girls in the garage. And thanks to social media, we found out that Chad the Wolf was Mr. Phillips' son. Now it's clear why he pushed for that stupid rock band to perform at the festival. However, we couldn't find anything about the second son, except for his name, Thomas. He did not have any social media. I was fuming for days. Why the heck did arrogant rich people think they could buy the whole world? Ugh, it's infuriating. April, sometimes life is unfair. Be better than them and bring your light into the world. My parents' words not only calmed me down, but also inspired me. While everyone else was asleep, I composed a new song. The next morning, I gathered the girls in the garage again. You know what? We don't need that festival or approval of that corrupt jury. We'll achieve everything on our own. I've got a new song for us. They listened as I sang from the heart. They want to keep you quiet, to hide your fire inside. But you were born to riot. The world should see your light. The girls were impressed. We chose the chords for the song and got to rehearsing. This song will make us famous. Then I had to face consequences for my stunt at the mall. My parents and I were summoned to court. They wanted me to do community service. Your Honor, I can vouch for April. Let her work as a janitor in my hospital as punishment. The judge agreed. Perhaps Mom should have become a lawyer instead of a doctor. She worked in the maternity ward, and I had to listen to newborn babies cry as I mopped the floors. April, what are you doing here? How about I tell you what I'll do if you don't get lost? Shove you into the bucket with dirty water. I'm sorry. I should have stood up for you and the other girls, but I lost my nerve. If I go against Wolf, he'll make sure I won't be accepted into music college, and music is everything to me. I cooled down a bit and even felt a little sorry for Michael. Chad and Mr. Phillips are very vindictive, aren't they? Yeah. Is Chad's brother a jerk too? Thomas? I don't know. I've only seen him a couple times. 6 months ago, he fought with his father and has been staying with a relative since. So, you're like the new janitor? Yeah, I'm falling down the career ladder. What are you doing here? My mom is giving birth soon. I was visiting her. I gave Michael a second chance to prove he was a good guy. We started to talk more often and became fast friends. April, my phone just died. Could I use yours to call Mom? Sure, I'll get a banana milkshake. That evening, Michael walked me home. For the first time, I thought we might become more than just friends. A couple of days later, the girls and I met for another rehearsal. Sam arrived late, and she was furious. Look at this. Wolf just posted the song his band is going to perform at the festival. Iron Wolves were playing our song. Chad had stolen it. But how? That's when I realized what must have happened. Girls, I think this is my fault. Michael used me to steal our song. He asked for my phone to make a call and must have looked at our lyrics and chords. My friends were seething, especially Alice. However, she was mad at me and not at the boys. You've let everyone down, April. It's your fault we won't become famous. That day, we had a huge falling out. The girls left, slamming the door on their way out and leaving me with a hole in my heart. The next morning, I went back to do community service. Why didn't you reply to my text yesterday? Because you stole my song? What song are you talking about? The one Iron Wolves will be singing at the festival. April, I don't know anything about that, I swear. Chad showed us the lyrics and chords. He said he composed it all by himself. Ugh, I knew he wasn't capable of creating something so cool. Get lost. Just leave. I must have looked furious enough that Michael left without another word. I wanted to kick my bucket. But then I saw my mother. She was walking next to a smiling old lady. I hardly recognize this place. April, say hello to Mrs. Smith. She was the most experienced midwife when I first started working here. Hey, Mom was suddenly called to a ward. Mrs. Smith stayed behind and looked at me intently. I was your mother's mentor, and also her midwife when she had you. I remember you when you were tiny. You and your brothers. What? I don't have any brothers. I might be old, but I have perfect memory. Your mother had triplets. You and your brothers were born on the same day. She smiled and walked on. I was so shocked I couldn't move until Mom came back. Mrs. Smith said you had triplets. Where are my brothers? Did you leave them at an orphanage and only take me home? April, Mrs. Smith is quite old. She must have gotten confused. I asked Dad about it at home, but he said the exact same thing. It was like Mom had made him memorize his lines. I wanted to believe my parents, but my heart was telling me that something wasn't right. Nothing had been right lately. I decided to let off some steam and go play basketball. It was working. Until I saw Chad. He was sitting in an expensive car and hugging Alice! I threw the ball at his car with all my strength. The headlight shattered just like my illusions. Are you nuts? You got off easy after stealing my song. Did Alice help you? I can't believe you did it, Alice. So what if I did? Now I have a boyfriend who spoils me with gifts. You moron! You didn't just sell our song, you sold out your friends! I'll send you the bill for the headlight. Get lost, you jerk! Later, I gathered what was left of our band and told them about Alice's betrayal. We should fight. We need to perform. But how? Who's going to play the guitar? I know a talented guitarist. I called Michael and said I overreacted. Then I apologized and suggested he join our band. I'm in. I'm tired of Wolf's antics. Half an hour later, he came over with his guitar. The garage was filled with music again. We kept rehearsing until I heard a noise. Guys, wait here. She broke my headlight. Did you call Daddy so he'd solve your problems? How manly of you. Let me guess, did Alice tell you my address? Your parents will have to pay for the damages. The next moment, Mom and Dad came out onto the porch. They stared at Mr. Phillips, who stared right back. You? You? Chad seemed as surprised as I was. His father looked at me with disgust. You didn't teach her any manners. Okay,
Let's just forget about this. Keep this brat away from my family. Chad, get in the car. Yes, Dad.
You know Mr. Phillips? We've met. That's how we know what kind of man he is, and that's why we didn't want you to have anything to do with him. I came back to the garage with a new plan in mind. We recorded ourselves perfectly performing my song about light and explained that Wolf had stolen it from us. He's got no talent and can't do anything without his daddy. We posted the video with the hashtag #TruthAboutChad The video went viral. Less than 2 days later, Chad showed up at my place.
You must release a retraction.
Did you hit your head? In return, I'll share important information with you. Dad told me something about your parents. You're not their real daughter. You should get your head checked out.
I'm serious. Do a DNA test. I'll pay for it. And if I'm right, you'll post a new video and say you lied.
I wanted to slam the door in his face, but then I remembered how weird my parents had been acting and shook Chad's hand. It felt like I'd made a deal with the devil. Then I took a few strands of Mom's hair from the comb and found Dad's fingernail clipping. Wolf and I went to a lab. He wasn't great company, but insisted on coming so I wouldn't cheat. As promised, Chad paid for the test. I gave the lab technician the samples I had brought with me. Then they took my DNA sample for comparison.
The results will be ready in 3 days.
Time dragged on like molasses. When I got a call from the lab, Chad came with me to get the results. The lab technician gave them to me. I read them over and over again until the words started to blur. I'm not my parents' daughter! Yes, I won! Things only got more strange after that. The lab technician let it slip that my sample was very similar to that of another client of theirs.
He recently did a DNA test too. You have a partial match.
What? Who is he?
I have no right to disclose that information. I turned to Wolf.
Give him money. Your family is great at bribing people.
I don't feel like it.
Do it if you want me to post a retraction. Chad gritted his teeth and handed the technician a wad of cash. The lab tech gave in and revealed the name.
It was Thomas J. Phillips.
What? My brother? Where is he now?
He's been staying with our grandparents for 6 months now.
Let's go! When we arrived, I told Thomas everything right away. He looked like Chad, but his eyes were kinder, and maybe sadder.
Why did you do a DNA test in the first place? Dad and I never got along. He's mean and spiteful. I hoped I wasn't his son. Unfortunately, the test confirmed that he was my biological father.
But since we have a partial match, does that mean Mr. Phillips is my father too?
The heck? You mean you're our sister?
The three of us tried to get the boy's grandparents to talk, but they seemed scared and refused to tell us anything.
You should talk to your parents.
That seemed like the only way to find out the truth. Chad and Thomas lured Mr. Phillips to a restaurant, and I tricked my parents into coming too. Then we demanded they tell us everything. 17 years ago, I was paid to become a surrogate mother for Mr. and Mrs. Phillips. Usually, surrogate mothers do not transfer their DNA to the baby. The cells of the future parents are used for the conception. That's why the test showed you that you are not our biological daughter, April. When I got pregnant, we found out that I would have triplets, 2 boys and a girl. Mr. Phillips wanted heirs, not a useless daughter. He immediately decided that he would take in Chad and Thomas and send me to an orphanage.
We couldn't let that happen, and we adopted you.
I felt like crying but held back. Now I understand why Mom and Dad protected me from the truth. They cared about my feelings. But I'll never understand how you could give up a child just because they weren't born the gender you wanted.
So dramatic. I shouldn't have expected anything better from a girl.
Shut up! You're even worse than I thought! Without further ado, Mom and Dad brought me home. They hugged me, made me hot tea. They were there for me.
You're our daughter. We love you.
And I love you. The next day, I got a call from Chad. I thought he would apologize, but no. You didn't forget about your promise, did you? I'm still waiting for that video. Is that the only thing you care about? Fine. I posted a video in which I said I had slandered Chad Phillips. Whatever, I didn't care. That evening, my friends and Michael came to the garage. Michael brought a guest along.
I want to get to know my sister.
Make yourself at home, Thomas. Why did you post that video? Because I'm not like Chad, and not like Mr. Phillips. When I give my word, I keep it.
Being good isn't in our DNA. It's a personal choice. I'm proof of that. Cheer up, guys. We're talented. We'll have 100 hits, and all Wolf has is one stolen song. Let's rock! Exactly 1 year later, we met Iron Wolves at another competition. Michael was right. Chad hadn't written a single new song. Meanwhile, our band had a lot of new stuff to show, and we crushed it. The winners are Not Your Doll.
My son's band should have won. I'll pay you.
Don't embarrass yourself. This is a national competition. Real talent wins here. Mr. Phillips was dragged away by security. I ran toward the cheering crowd and jumped off the stage into their arms. Whee!
I'd always wanted to feel like a rock star.
Wait, I am a rock star!